Hello, my friends. I'm Sarah from Fluency 365 channel. Today, we'll talk about a fun and unconventional way to learn English, which is video games. Yes, as you heard, games aren't just for entertainment, but can be an effective tool for improving listening skills, vocabulary, and even pronunciation. Our guest today is Mike, who will share his personal experience of how games helped him master English naturally. Welcome, Mike.
Hello, Sarah, and thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to share my experience with Fluency 365 listeners.
Let's start with the first point. Many people suffer from boredom during traditional language learning. Books and grammar can be somewhat boring, but games make learning an adventure. How do you see that from your perspective?
That's absolutely right, Sarah. Boredom is the number one enemy of any learner. When I played games like The Last of Us or Red Dead Redemption, I didn't feel like I was learning. I was enjoying the story, immersed in the world, and learning new words and expressions without realizing it. The story was so engaging that I would look up word meanings to understand the events completely.
That's absolutely right, Mike. Immersion in the experience is what makes learning effective and enjoyable. When you're excited to know what happens next in the story, your mind is more ready to receive and process new information. Do you remember a specific moment when you felt you learned a word or expression naturally without trying to memorize it?
Absolutely, Sarah. I remember in Red Dead Redemption 2, there were many dialogues that used old expressions or slang from the old American West. Initially, I found it difficult to understand them, but with repeated hearing in different contexts, I began to understand their meaning intuitively. For example, expressions like became part of my linguistic vocabulary without any effort from me. I would laugh when I realized I understood these expressions without needing to look them up.
Curiously, that's amazing. It's like your mind picks up language from the surrounding environment, just like children learn their mother tongue. This leads us to an important point. Do you think this type of learning, indirect learning, is better than traditional learning based on grammar and vocabulary?
I think it complements it. Traditional learning lays the foundation, but indirect learning through games adds depth and flexibility. It teaches you how to use language in real contexts and how to interact with it naturally. Games give you the opportunity to experience language, not just study it. And that's the fundamental difference.
That's really interesting. Immersion is the key then. Do you think all games are useful for learning English? Or are there specific types you recommend?
Excellent question. Not all games have the same benefit. Games that rely on intensive dialogue and rich stories are the best. For example, story games or RPGs like The Witcher 3 or Cyberpunk 2077 are very rich in complex dialogues and diverse characters. And this exposes you to many vocabulary words and expressions.
Yes, I understand that. Deep dialogues increase the linguistic challenge. What about adventure games?
Adventure games like Uncharted or Tomb Raider are also very useful. They contain everyday terms and common expressions used in real life in addition to the action that makes the experience enjoyable.
What about online games that require interaction with other players like Fortnite or Call of Duty?
These games have a completely different benefit. When you play online, you interact with players from all over the world. This forces you to use English to communicate, whether through voice or text chat. You learn slang, abbreviations, and how to express yourself quickly under pressure. It's a real environment for practicing the language.
That makes perfect sense. Practical experience is what reinforces information. Let's move to the types of games you mentioned. You said RPGs and adventure games are useful. Can you give us another example of a specific game that significantly affected your language level and why?
Absolutely. The Elder Scrolls V. Skyrim had a big impact. Its vast world and multiple characters offer a huge amount of dialogue. Each character has their own accent and way of speaking, and this exposes you to great diversity in English pronunciation and accents. I would listen to their stories, quests, and even casual conversations, and this helped me improve my listening skills incredibly.
Enthusiastically, Skyrim. A legendary game indeed. It seems that diversity in accents and pronunciation is an additional advantage. What about puzzle games or games that rely heavily on reading? Do they have benefits?
Yes, absolutely. Games like Ace Attorney or Danganronpa, which rely heavily on reading texts and understanding evidence, are excellent for improving reading skills and specialized vocabulary. They force you to focus on linguistic details to understand the story and solve puzzles.
That's amazing. It seems there are different types that suit different levels and needs. Now, let's move to your personal experience. How did you specifically benefit from games? Can you tell us a story or situation that illustrates that?
Absolutely. About 3 years ago, I used to get very nervous when speaking English. I understood the grammar, but speaking was difficult. Then I started playing GTA Online intensively with foreign friends. I spent about 500 hours in the game, and I was constantly communicating with them. The result was amazing. I became much better at understanding American and British slang, and I could respond more fluently without prior thinking. The game forced me to interact quickly, and this improved my linguistic reactions. I remember once I used an expression from the game in real life, which was, "Let's roll out," when I wanted to leave a work meeting. Everyone looked at me strangely, laughs. No one understood what I meant, but it was a funny moment when I realized how much games had affected my daily language.
Laughs. That's very funny. It seems you became so immersed in gaming language that it affected your daily life. This proves that learning happens even without us feeling it. Now, some people might say games are a waste of time. How do we respond to them? And what are your tips for beginners who want to use games to learn English?
That's a common objection, but the truth is that any activity can be a waste of time if not used properly. Games, if used consciously, can be a very powerful educational tool. My first tip for beginners is start with games with clear audio. Games like Minecraft or Stardew Valley, although they don't rely on complex dialogues, have clear texts and relatively simple vocabulary, making them a good starting point.
A very important point. Clarity in audio and text helps build confidence. What's next?
Second, don't be afraid to use dictionaries or translation apps. When you encounter a word you don't know, stop and look it up. Initially, this might be annoying, but over time you'll find that you stop less and less because vocabulary has started accumulating.
This requires some discipline, but it definitely pays off. Are there any other tips regarding in-game settings?
Yes, third, turn on English subtitles initially. This helps you connect sound with written text and strengthens listening and reading skills at the same time. When you feel comfortable, try gradually turning off subtitles to rely on listening only.
That's an excellent strategy. Starting with subtitles, then moving to listening only. What about interacting with others?
Fourth, try joining foreign gaming communities, whether forums, Discord groups, or even voice chat within games. This gives you a chance to practice the language in a natural and spontaneous context and make new friends at the same time.
That is a very important lesson. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. They're a natural part of the learning process. What about your fifth tip, which is choosing games you enjoy? Do you think this is the most important factor in continuity?
Absolutely. Fifth, choose games you truly enjoy. If you don't enjoy the game, you won't continue with it and therefore won't benefit from it linguistically. Make learning fun, and that's the essence of using games.
That is golden advice, Mike. Learning should be fun to continue. Do you have any other funny stories or unforgettable situations that happened to you while learning English through games?
Smiles, yes, I remember once in World of Warcraft, I was trying to join a group to complete a difficult quest. The group leader was speaking very fast and was using many game-specific terms that I didn't understand. I felt completely lost.
Curiously, what did you do? Did you ask him to slow down?
Initially, I was afraid to ask, but I realized I wouldn't be able to complete the quest if I didn't understand the instructions. So I gathered my courage and told him, "Excuse me, could you please speak a bit slower? I'm still learning English." The surprise was that he understood completely and started speaking more clearly and even explained some terms to me. This moment taught me the importance of asking for help and not being ashamed of being a learner.
A very inspiring story, Mike. This highlights another aspect of learning through games, which is building self-confidence and using the language. Do you see that games can also help improve pronunciation?
Absolutely, when you listen to characters in game speaking, you pick up their way of pronouncing words and sentences. With repeated listening, you begin to mimic these sounds involuntarily. Especially in games with high-quality voice acting, you can learn a lot about intonation, stress, and even different accents.
That is right. Active listening is the key to improving pronunciation. Are there any additional tools or resources you would recommend for gamers who want to enhance their English language learning?
Yes, I recommend using sites like Word Reference or Lingji to search for word meanings in different contexts. Also, watching Let's Play videos on YouTube by English-speaking gamers can be very useful because you listen to the language in a natural and comfortable context.
Mike, do you have any final message you would like to direct to our listeners who might be hesitant to try this method of learning English?
My message is don't limit yourselves. Learning isn't confined to classrooms and books. The world is full of opportunities to learn new things in fun and unconventional ways. Games are one of these opportunities. Try them, enjoy them, and you'll be surprised by the results. The most important thing is continuity and passion.
Very wise words, Mike. You've added a lot to our understanding of how to transform games from just a hobby into a powerful educational tool. Thank you so much again for your valuable time and wonderful sharing.
Thank you, Sarah, and to all Fluency 365 listeners.
And here we reach the end of today's episode. We hope you enjoyed and benefited from this inspiring discussion. Don't forget to subscribe to Fluency 365 for more innovative and fun ways to learn languages. See you in the next episode.